actually just don't even share it until we get here. So the reactions that we get are legit. So I've got the Warriors at number 1. I just think that they've been on fire the past month or so. They did lose to the Blazers their last game before the All-Star break, but I still have the Warriors 8-2 in their last 10 is number 1. I've actually got the Raptors at number 2. They've won 6 in a row. They have wins over the Nets, the Sixers, the Clippers. They've been playing pretty well. And then I've got the Milwaukee Bucks at number 3. So we're kind of on the same path. A lot of ours are just kind of flip-flop, especially moving forward. I got the Thunder at 4, got the Nuggets coming in at 5. I've got the Celtics at 6. 7, I've got the Philadelphia 76ers. 8, I've got the Blazers. 9, I've got the Rockets. And man, I'm telling you right now, this is one of the more exciting teams right now. The Orlando Magic I have is my number 10. If you look at them, they've won 5 in a row.
In the world?
They've won 5 in a row. They're 7 out of the last 3. They beat the Pacers. They beat the Nets. They beat the Bucks. Their losses are to the Thunder, the Rockets, the Nets, and the Wizards. So they're beating playoff teams. They're beating teams that are they're beating teams that are in the playoffs right now, and they're beating them pretty good too. Yeah, I know you just wipe the right.
What in the world?
Wipe the fog off of the the glasses that you don't have on right now. Yeah, I mean they're playing really well. They're playing really well coming into the All-Star break. Are they going to make the playoffs? I can't say for sure, but they're one of my teams that I'm big on right now. They've made some moves. They got Markelle Fultz.
That's a big move, yeah.
Right? Exactly. So they're definitely one of my teams that I'm looking at right now.
I know what to say. Orlando Magic. I mean, I don't have the Rockets in my top 10, so somebody somewhere listening to this podcast is going to be saying the same thing. But I will say, I had the Jazz at 10 with the Brooklyn Nets knocking on the door. I am still, they're like if I could do a 10B, that'd be my 10B team, would be the Brooklyn Nets. Orlando, I'm interested to see what that team can do. I mean, the bottom of the Eastern Conference is tight. It's going to change throughout the course of the season. I mean, right now it's Detroit, but we're talking about 7 through 10. You have Hornets, Pistons, Heat, and Magic. Those teams are going to fluctuate throughout the rest of the season. It'll be exciting to see who can make it. Brooklyn, as I talked about, is right now sitting at number 6. They might go up a little bit. They could go down a little bit, but it's going to be interesting to see how those teams fight. I know the Miami Heat have a couple of key players coming back from injury, so we'll have to see if that can help them solidify things. And then our team, the Wizards, having just gotten Bobby Portis and Jabari Parker, those guys having 7 days to kind of figure things out. We'll have to see what kind of impact they do or don't have on that team as well to see if maybe they can sneak in the playoffs somehow. But man, Orlando, I mean, based on what you said, I can see how you can come to that conclusion, but I personally couldn't do that.
Well, like I said, I mean, I went back and I looked at some of the games they won, some of the games they've lost. They're just, they're playing really well right now. I mean, of course, the Nets, man. We can't talk enough about the Nets being at number 6 right now in the Eastern Conference. The Nets are becoming a new destination for free agents.
Hell
you
yeah.
talk about players going to New York. Huh. Really? New York? Are they going to the Knicks now? Or are they going to the Nets now? Like, it could be either or. Whereas before, it'd be like, okay, everybody wants to go to the Knicks because the Knicks is one of those franchises. The Knicks, the Celtics, the Lakers are your top 3 pretty much, and if you think about it. So the Brooklyn Nets are putting their name on the map, man. And like I said, with the Nets, the Hornets, and the Pistons, it's going to be a battle royale for that last spot. But you talk about those teams, and it really doesn't matter, honestly. In my opinion, it does not matter which one of those teams because they're going to either have to face Milwaukee or they're going to have to face Toronto.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you. There's very few teams in the Eastern Conference that I think would win a 7-game series with either one of those two teams. I mean, they're just too well-rounded. Kawhi Leonard and Giannis Antetokounmpo can both take over games, dominate games, and shut down players.
Yeah, Kawhi is a good defensive player. Not that it matters. Just for those who are keeping track at home, I'm not saying ESPN is the end-all, be-all of sports, because they certainly are. They have the Orlando Magic ranked number 20. That's all I'm going to say.
But this is a weekly ranking. It's not a yearly power ranking. I'm not putting them in my yearly power. I mean, this is a weekly ranking.
I understand.
Yeah.
Not bashing. You respect my rankings. I respect yours. Just want to throw it out there. ESPN has them ranked number 20. I'm just saying. I'm interested to see, too, how things play out. I mean, obviously, we're going to have to wait to the end of the season, but I'd love to know, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where is Kawhi Leonard at as far as re-signing with Toronto? Like, you hear a lot of rumblings about him being almost a done deal to go to the Clippers. And, of course, we can talk about speculation all show long and every week. We don't want to do that. We want to talk about actual basketball. But I would love to just know, like, on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being I'm staying in Toronto, where is he at? They're having a really good season. He's playing outstanding basketball. I wonder if that team so far is doing and has done enough to make it a serious option for him to stay in Toronto. I would be interested to know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good question because the Clippers are calling. You know, the Clippers got, what did we say a couple weeks ago? They have executives or they have guys from the team out there watching his games every single game. I mean, they're not giving up. They're not just like, oh, well, he's doing good there. He's going to stay. Nope. They're, he's doing good? Okay, well, we need to amp it up a little bit more. We need to do this without, of course, tampering or actually talking to him.
Yeah.
But it's going to be fun, man, coming into free agency next year and just seeing these players and where they go. I mean, of course, all the talk right now is about who?
Anthony Davis. Yeah.
Right. We can talk
Who didn't
about
play a
Anthony.
single minute in the All-Star game.
5
injured.
minutes. He played 5 minutes.
I must have passed out and fell asleep.
That was when you blinked.
Rest of my eyes.
You went to the bathroom and you came back, and that was his 5 minutes.
That.
No, I had to look it up too. Yeah, he only played 5 minutes in the game, and obviously there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
They don't want, they don't know what's going to happen with him. And I read something the other day that the Pelicans are trying to ask the NBA to take back that thing where they said they were going to
fine
him.
Yeah, a whole lot of money.
I think it was 100. Was it
100,000?
100,000 a game.
A game,
right?
yeah. That's a lot of cash, man, for a team that's not exactly flowing in money either.
Honestly, if I was him, and I hate to say it like this, but man, I stubbed my toe last night. I kicked the couch last night. I can't, why would you? I know that he wants to be there for his teammates because a lot of those guys he's been there with for a while.
Yeah.
But you also got to think about your future as far as, if you get hurt, what's going to happen? Can you get them to trade you wherever you want?
Yeah, you're not going to the same value.
Right. So
just taking a risk. Look at Markelle Fultz. I mean, they got a good. I mean, the Sixers worked out well that deal, but that could have gone sideways really quickly because he's injured. There's not a lot of tape on him. Is he injury prone? Just brings up a lot of questions. It just takes away from your value.
Yeah.
To be a trade piece.
I didn't honestly think they were going to get much for him. So we'll see what happens with that. But
yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for sure. Well, don't fear. I know people are wondering. 7 days of no basketball. Can he do it? Is he going to do it? The answer is yes, he can. You know what time it is, folks. The Hillwood Report.
All right, so this week I switched it up. Obviously, there really wasn't any games just because we just had the All-Star game this past weekend. So I kind of wanted to just kind of strictly go with just teams that are hot going into the hot coming into the All-Star break and teams that I'm down on and that are are lacking right now. So of course I want to start it off with the team that I already mentioned, and that I mentioned it for a reason, was the Orlando Magic. They've won 5 games in a row. They picked up Markelle Fultz, so that's big for them. Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross has been out there balling the last couple weeks. I mean,
I forgot he was in the league.
Right, you wouldn't have thought it, right? They got Fournier, of course, Mo Bamba. They're still, I'm not sure they haven't said anything about his return because I know he was out for.
Yeah, I think he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. I actually got a chance to sit down and meet him at the Express VIP event, and he definitely had a giant walking boot on. I'm 6'4". He made me feel like a dwarf. Continue, sorry.
Right. No. And I knew that, too, so I left that in there for you for that reason.
He is a big man.
But yeah, the Orlando Magic, man, I think they have a good chance of getting into that 8th spot, which I can't, obviously I haven't even done the research, but I don't know when the last time they made the playoffs, but I can tell you it's a long time.
Yeah.
So either way, I think they have a really good chance this year of fighting the Heat and the Pistons. I believe it's between the Heat, the Pistons, obviously, and the Wizards for that 8th spot. You're talking about teams that are going to be coming in crunch time. Another team, man, you got to give it up to the Sacramento Kings and what they've done, what they've done with that roster. Buddy Hield, man. They gave up on Buddy Hield.
Yeah, New Orleans Pelicans gave him up. Yeah,
gave up on him. And he got a chance in Sacramento, and man, he is just balling out there. And him and De'Aaron Fox, they really showed up at the All-Star weekend with the different events that they did. They barely lost the Nuggets right before the All-Star break, 120 to 118.
That was a good game. I saw that game.
They are playing very good. They're playing great teams, and they're playing them good enough to be in the games. They're not getting blown out like they have been in a while. They're one game behind the Clippers for that 8th spot in the Western Conference. So they're definitely a fun and exciting team, an upcoming team. We talked about them, I think, what was it, our first podcast? I think we were talking about them. So clearly they're one of those teams in the Western Conference that, are they there yet? I can't really say. They're just outside that 8th spot, right behind the Clippers in San Antonio. They're going to be fighting the Lakers this year, obviously, for that spot, because I don't think the Lakers are going any higher than 8th unless they go on a 20-game win streak.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Right, we'll talk about that. And that brings me into segment. Teams that I'm down on right now, the Los Angeles Lakers. I really don't know what's going on with them right now. You know, they pretty much put their entire team up on the chalkboard to be traded, and it falls through, and then who knows, you know, what happens. I mean, Michael Beasley's gone now. I think he's getting re-signed with a team in China. You know, you talk about that. You talk about if Rondo had not hit that miraculous game winner in that one game, they would have lost 5 games in a row. You know, they lost 2, won that one by buzzer beater, and then they lost 2 more in a row. So, they lost to the Hawks 117-79. They lost to the Sixers 143 to 120. So, you know, you talk about they're getting scored on. They're not playing defense. And Kyle Kuzma showed up big in the All-Star weekend. Kyle Kuzma's been showing up. I mean, he's that guy. He's that guy you don't want to trade, in my opinion. From
I say it every week. They can't trade Kuzma.
No way, shape, or form. Not at all. So, I mean, the Lakers clearly, you know, that's the team that everybody wants to talk about because LeBron James is there. Are they going to make the playoffs? Is this going to be LeBron's year where he doesn't make the playoffs? I mean, shoot, he's made the finals 7 years in a row? 8 years in a row. Yeah, so he's made the finals 8 years in a row, and we're talking about him not even making the playoffs this year.
I bet you his body wouldn't be mad about that, though. Just throwing it out there. His body might love the rest.
Yep. So
just throwing it out there.
My other team, and I was kind of between 2 teams, but I went with the Charlotte Hornets. You know, they're 8-21 on the road this year. They lost the Magic. They lost the Heat recently. This is more about them not doing anything to get Kemba Walker help. You know, Kemba Walker stayed there and been there, and they just can't get anybody help. I mean, you look at that roster, Kemba Walker's averaging 25 points. Jeremy Lamb is the next closest with 15. Marvin Williams with 10. Malik Monk with 10. That's what you've got on your roster?
And Malik Monk, high draft pick. You take a look at those picks that Jordan has. I mean, not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan, people say. They can argue that all the day. Executive-wise, as an owner, as a GM, I'm sorry, Mike, you're horrible. Your draft picks, just take a look at his draft picks. Horrible. From the Michael Kidd Gilchrist to the Malik Monks to the Zellers to the Frank the Tank from Wisconsin.
Right.
Just horrible, horrible, horrible drafting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you there. I mean, some of them just I was big on. Clearly, Malik Monk, Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good.
He's still early. He's only his second year.
It is, and that's why I don't. It's not like they're done or anything like that. Comiskey, what happened to him? But the biggest one is Nicholas Batum, averaging 9 points a game.
Huge contract from Portland.
What? And he started out really well, too. But he's doing nothing out there. You know, they brought in Tony Parker to help out Kemba Walker, and it's worked. It has. But Kemba Walker can't do it all himself. And the fact that they're that high in the Eastern Conference with just that roster, it still just blows me away. So, really, the Hornets are on there just based on the fact that they really didn't do anything. They didn't make any trades. They didn't really do anything to make that roster better, to get further in the playoffs. They were basically just a one-and-done playoff team every year, which, I mean, I guess, hey, everybody's goal is to make the playoffs for the most part. Yeah. Some teams, their goal is to win the championship, but a lot of them, you know, they're building a team. Making the playoffs means you're doing something right. Making the playoffs means you're going in the right direction.
Like making the playoffs for the Orlando Magic this season will be huge.
Oh, it would be
for that franchise. Yeah,
phenomenal. So, but yeah, those are the 4 teams that I'm kind of up on, and those are the 4 teams that really, really, really need to pull it together. You know, make some moves, whether it be rosters or just make some moves, whether it be, you know, win some big games, because Because right now the Lakers and the Hornets are not trending in the right direction, if you ask me. And the Kings and the Magic are both